Over 3 years ago, we did a Geek Trivia episode on one of the most underrated superheroes of the DC universe. While that video is still on the channel, I wanted to update it because we have better editing software and much better sound equipment. And with the imminent release of a standalone Aquaman movie, it seems the perfect time. I'm Ollamh, and welcome to Geek Trivia. A lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, tend to think of Aquaman as a one-trick hero. He can talk to fish, and that's all people think about. But actually, he can do so much more. For the most part, he is overshadowed because of his inclusion in the Justice League. I mean, who can compare with Superman? Actually, Aquaman is on par with the original Superman's powers. Most people only think about his ability to communicate telepathically with ocean life, which is varied throughout the life of the comic character. In most cases, it's not really commanding but suggesting or making deals with ocean life. Lately, it has been toned down to implanting urges and compulsions by subtly altering the cerebellum, as a lot of marine life doesn't have that highly developed intelligence. But beyond that, his physical abilities are overlooked and discarded, but they have reasonable explanations. Aquaman has incredibly tough skin, muscles, and bones, to the point where he can withstand machine gun fire. He is also capable of leaping up to 6 miles, exhibits super Atlantean strength, the average Atlantean can lift about 2 tons, and can swim up to 3,000 meters per second or 6,700 miles per hour. All of these abilities are direct cause of his Atlantean heritage. Atlantis in the DC universe is at the floor of the Atlantic Ocean, which has a maximum depth of 27,841 feet or 8,486 meters. At sea level, the human body is subjected to pressure of about 14.6 pounds per square inch, or 1 atmosphere. For every 10 meters of depth, or about 33 feet, the pressure increases by 1 atmosphere. That means, at the deepest part of the Atlantic Ocean, a body would be under about 849 atmospheres of pressure, or roughly 12,395 pounds per square inch of pressure. Given that the deepest dive with scuba equipment set by Ahmed Gabber in 2014 is 332.35 meters or 1,090 feet and 4.5 inches, the fact that Aquaman can survive without protection means his skin, muscles, and bones have to be incredibly strong. To give you an idea of what would happen to a normal person, at a depth of about 100 feet, the spongy tissue of the lungs begins to contract, restricting a person's air supply. Also, the dive response is triggered, constricting limbs and pushing blood towards the heart and brain to expand blood vessels in the chest, balancing the pressure from the outside water. The heart rate during deep dives can be lowered to around 14 beats per minute, about a third of the rate of a person in a coma. Most divers won't go below 400 feet, as the human body, unassisted, can only handle about 4 atmospheres of pressure, or 58.8 pounds per square inch. There are people, as mentioned before, that have dived further with scuba equipment, and some, like Herbert Niche, who holds the record for diving 214 meters or 702 feet without a breathing apparatus, but this was with the aid of a weighted sled and inflatable bags or vest for resurfacing. Most of the effects and depths we've talked about in the real world are less than 1% of the depth of the Atlantic Ocean for the dive response, 3% for the deepest most divers will go without diving assistance, 5.5% for the deepest dive without scuba, and 8.5% with scuba equipment. These help to realize just how tough Aquaman would have to be to withstand that deep of a dive. But it goes beyond just withstanding those depths. He is able to function easily at such depths. That means moving, fighting, and seeing. That would mean in low light, such as away from a city at night, he would be able to see clearly, and his movements on land would be much faster due to his body's ability to move normally in the depths of the ocean. Now, who Aquaman is goes far beyond just his powers. His character shows in the choice of superhero costume. While Superman wears a costume based on his alien origins, and Batman's is made to invoke fear in his foes, Aquaman's is a symbol to remind others that even a king can be found in unusual places and not to underestimate people. Originally, Aquaman was not accepted in Atlantis, but was instead thrown in prison. The classic orange top and green bottom costume he wears as a superhero is actually the customary prison uniform of Atlantis. This speaks volumes about the character of Arthur Curry, that he decided to keep the look of a prisoner while doing good and even ruling Atlantis. It's a statement to anyone who knows about it. Yes, he was a prisoner, but that didn't change who he was on the inside. It didn't change the fact that he was royalty. It tells the world that just because someone is a prisoner, it doesn't mean that they can't go on to be important and do great things. Whether it is his powers being greater than one might think, or it might seem when compared to the likes of Superman and Wonder Woman, or his choice of costume, Aquaman is a much deeper character than most people realize. He has abilities that put him pretty high on the standings of the Justice League rosters, and a strength of character that shows in his still wearing a prisoner's clothing. He is a perfect example of why judging someone without knowing the full truth about them is a major problem. He is quite possibly the exact hero that the world needs to focus on right now. So what do you think about Aquaman? Knowing the depths of his power and his choice of costume, did you already know about the choices and abilities, or was there something that you learned today? Has your opinion of the hero changed or stayed the same? I would love to know what you think of the Atlantean hero, so please leave a comment down below, send us a tweet or a post on our Facebook page, and let us know how you view this Justice League member. As always, thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to prod the subscribe button down below so that you can stay tuned for more from Ollamh Productions.
If you wanna see some crazy,
Cheerio!
On her deathbed, his mother told him that she was an exiled queen of Atlantis. Now, a lot of people look at Aquaman as
A laundry chute and stumbles onto where they're holding Diana. He doesn't seem to understand the score as he casually starts untying Miss Palmer in front of the leader of the pilots.